Here are the top stories for today, May 30, 2019. Canada vows to shoulder the cost of shipping out more than 2,000 tons of garbage illegally dumped in the country. The House of Representatives ratifies the proposed Murang Kuryente Act lowering power rates. The Philippines ranks up in this year's World Competitiveness Yearbook. And former members of the Maute terror group present themselves to the government for profiling.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Justice Secretary Bernardo Guevara on Wednesday said Canada will shoulder the cost of repatriation of its trash illegally dumped in the country years ago. He said the cost of reshipment of more than 2,000 tons of garbage from Canada is estimated at around 10 million pesos and will be shouldered by the Canadian government. The container vans will be loaded on vessels owned by 3 shipping companies such as Maersk, Zim Integrated Shipping Services, and CMA-CGM Group. The tons of garbage from Canada is slated to be shipped back tomorrow. Guevara is the Philippine government's officer in charge, while President Rodrigo Duterte is in Japan from May 28 to 31st. The Philippines has improved its competitiveness in the world market, as shown by its recent jump in ranking in the 2019 World Competitiveness Yearbook. Malacanang on Wednesday hailed the recent improvement of the country in this year's World Competitiveness Yearbook, published by the International Institute for Management Development. The Philippines jumped to 46th from last year's 50th spot in terms of competitiveness, measured by economic performance, government efficiency, business efficiency, and infrastructure. In a statement, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the Philippines' improved ranking means well for the country and our economy. Panelo attributed the improvement to President Rodrigo Duterte's strong and effective style of government. He noted that putting premium on cutting down red tape and promoting ease in doing business while implementing the Build, Build, Build infrastructure program boosts the government's strategy for sustained and inclusive growth. The Armed Forces of the Philippines says mandatory ROTC will not lead to militarization of schools, contrary to the allegations of leftist groups Kabataan and Gabriela. AFP spokesperson Edgar Arevalo said there is more to ROTC than military training, as it teaches nationalism, respect for law, and discipline, which is needed by the youth today. He stressed that instilling love for country on students will protect them from brainwashing of enemies of the state. Actor and Philippine Army reservist Mateo Gudicelli on Tuesday went to Datu Saudi Ampatuan, Maguindanao to talk about the youth's role in peace building. Around 500 persons participated in the forum called Role of Youth in Peace Building and Preventing Countering Violent Extremism. According to Gudicelli, violence is not the key nor the solution to anything. Gudicelli, who is a probationary second lieutenant, recognized the heartbreaking experiences of the people who witnessed innocent lives perish because of armed conflict. He also called on the Filipino youth to value the education that the government provides as they aspire to become successful and contribute to national peace and development in the future. The House of Representatives ratifies the proposed Murang Kuryente Act, and more Pinoys from Tripoli are sent home. More on these and other news around the metro from Janice Cave.
The House of Representatives on Wednesday ratified the proposed Murang Kuryente Act, which seeks to reduce electricity rates. Under the consolidated version of House Bill 8869 and Senate Bill 1950, some 208 billion pesos from the net government share of the Malampaya Fund will be allocated to cover payment for stranded contract costs and stranded debts of Napocor. According to Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco, chair of the House Committee on Energy, the implementation of the measure will translate to a savings of 172 pesos per household who consumes an average of 200 kilowatts per month. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Internal Revenue offers an alternative payment channel via the Union Bank online web and mobile app. The additional electronic payment facility is expected to improve tax compliance at client satisfaction. To use the e-payment facility, the taxpayer may access the BIR website or directly access the Union Bank website. In other news, the Philippine government has repatriated 15 more Filipinos from the strife-torn Libya. This brings to 70 the total number of Filipinos repatriated from the Libyan capital since the conflict between forces of the United Nations-backed government and the Libyan National Army started in April 2019. Crisis Alert Level 4 or Forced Repatriation Phase remains in effect in Tripoli and nearby areas. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, a labor group proposes measures to help workers suffering from burnout. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues. About 300 billion pesos worth of business agreements and letters of intent were signed between the Philippines and Japan on the sidelines of President Rodrigo Duterte's working visit to Japan. Rom Dulfo tells us more.
The Philippines and Japan signed 26 business agreements on May 29 during President Rodrigo Duterte's working visit to Tokyo. These are expected to generate about 289 billion pesos worth of investments to the Philippines and around 83,000 jobs for Filipinos. The industries covered in the agreements include human resource development, data analytics, artificial intelligence, information technology, defense, energy, manufacturing, automotive, health, food, among others. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo said these agreements emphasize the confidence the Japanese business leaders have on the Philippines as an investor haven under the vibrant and decisive leadership of President Duterte. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The Department of Justice has assigned to a prosecutor the formal investigation on the killing of the aide of former Biliran Representative Glenn Chong and a female companion. Acting Prosecutor General Richard Anthony Fadulion said he has assigned Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Alexander Suarez to handle Richard Santillan's murder case. The National Bureau of Investigation earlier filed before the DOJ their criminal cases against Calabarzon Police Regional Director Edward Carranza and other police officers for the killing of Santillan and his companion Jessamine Casing last December in Cainta, Rizal. The police officials are facing charges of obstruction of justice, murder, and planting of evidence. Carranza and his men claim that Santillan and Casing were killed during a legitimate operation against the so-called highway boys involved in drug trade, carnapping, robbery, and killing in the floodway in Cainta. But the NBI stressed that Santillan and Casing were unarmed and defenseless while continuously fired upon. Chong earlier denied Santillan's involvement in a syndicate and claimed he was deliberately targeted. A labor group is urging the Department of Labor and Employment to issue a directive that will provide protection for workers experiencing workplace burnout. Alan Tanhusay of the Trade Union Congress of the Philippines said workers suffering from burnout must be provided social protection insurance benefits. He said recreational programs and incentives are also needed to address work-related burnout. Meanwhile, PCCI Chairman Francis Chua said most companies provide mandatory leaves for employees to ensure work-life balance in the workplace. The World Health Organization has classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon. It defined workplace burnout as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Among its symptoms include feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional efficiency. The Department of Science and Technology on Wednesday conducted a food processing seminar attended by villagers, mostly housewives and unemployed residents of Lawag City. The DOST partnered with Barangay Poblacion in Burgos to introduce Kamyas candy. At least 30 participants joined the training on how to make Kamyas candy, as well as juicing fruit and leafy greens to promote a healthy lifestyle. The DOST also emphasized the importance of ensuring food safety norms to meet international standards. Education officials in Baguio City vowed to provide school supplies to indigent students. Meanwhile, local officials lead the opening of a vital connecting road in Angeles City. These and other news from the provinces from Janice Cabe.
In Baguio City, indigent elementary school children who are forced to work while going to school would get school supplies from DepEd Cordillera. Some 125 pupils from the Baguio Central School and Josefa Carino Elementary School who are reported to earn a living before going to school will be recipients of school materials. DepEd and Department of Labor and Employment signed a memorandum of agreement to help in monitoring child labor incidents in all Baguio public elementary schools for intervention and assistance. In Tarlac, around 96 farmers completed their training under the Department of Agriculture's Kabalikat sa Kabuhayan program. The training started on February 27 when the farmer beneficiaries learned different techniques in urban planting, rural vegetable gardening, and the production of organic fertilizer. The beneficiaries were able to harvest a variety of fruits and vegetables such as okra, squash, pepper, eggplant, and watermelon. In Pampanga, the construction of the Abacan Highway, also known as the NLEX-SCTEX Connecting Road, officially starts on Wednesday. The road network is seen to decongest the traffic situation in the city, particularly at the Pandan-Pulong-Maragul-Magalang area. The highway will also feature promenades of modern design, biking, and jogging lanes. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, former members of the Maute terror group present themselves to the government for profiling. Jeron Teng goes on beast mode to lead the Alaska-ISIS versus the NLEX Road Warriors. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders. The government not only seeks to eliminate terrorism and insurgency, but also bring those who lost their way back to the folds of the law. In Lanao del Sur, some of these returnees presented themselves to authorities as they begin their reintegration to society. Wilnard Barcelona has the story.
After returning to the folds of the law, former members of Maute-ISIS group have formally undergone reintegration program to help them lead normal lives, from being combatants to productive citizens of Lanao del Sur. A total of 24 Maute-ISIS returnees from Marantao and Pegapo municipalities were profiled at 82nd Infantry Battalion based in Barangay Pawak in the town of Sagyaran.
Itong ginawa natin ngayong umaga is profiling. Profiling ng ating mga returnees para malaman yung mga identification nila matama. Kasi nagkaroon na tayo last February ng profiling din. Pero na-find out na may mga kulang pa. So parang validation na lang to at continuation ng naunang activities natin. Ngayon, para ma-identify din yung mga gaps kung saan pa tayo nagkukulang at saka kung anong mga programs ang pwede nilang ma-avail.
In line with this, the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process has partnered with the Armed Forces of the Philippines to conduct a peace dialogue with Maute returnees to preserve the implementation of reconciliation process.
Ito na yung continuing peaceful na pamamaraan natin on reconciliation and social living.
Relief goods were also distributed to the Maute returnees. One of the returnees is optimistic that the program will help end terrorism as they pursue contributing to the common good of society.
Gusto namin pasalamatan si ating mahal na Pangulo, President Rodrigo Duterte, sa kanyang pagtanggap sa amin at siyempre sa kanyang mga tulong. At siyempre at sa mga head agencies tulad ng AFP, Armed Forces of the Philippines, yung PNP, at ibang mga ahensya na tumulong sa amin para step by step na makabalik kami sa society.
The military urged the remaining members of the leaning bandits to voluntarily submit themselves to the government troops.
Tiwala sila, huwag silang matakot, sabihin nila lahat ng mga problema nila kung saan kami makakatulong. Nakikita naman nila na yung mga nag-surrender dito sa atin, yung nag-surface dito na mga former rebels is inalagaan sila at merong programa yung gobyerno para sa kanila.
Another 162 Maute-ISIS returnees will be profiled by the Philippine Army's 103rd Infantry Brigade through its 3-unit battalions. The 55th Infantry Battalion will profile returnees from the municipalities of Lumbaca, Unayan, Pagayawan, Lumbatan, and Binidayan, while the 49th Infantry Battalion will accommodate returnees from the town of Butig. The government is committed to provide means of getting what returnees need in order to survive. For PNA Newsroom, Wilnard Barcelona, Philippine Information Agency.
And in our foreign news, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Tuesday that the reaction from countries coming to the climate summit meeting is positive. About 80 countries are ready to step up action against climate change, which focused on supporting implementation on the ground. Countries are expected to present an actionable plan of mitigation to participate in the September 23 summit, one day before the opening of the annual general debate of the UN General Assembly. In sports, La Trinidad Benguet's parbuster Luigi Paulo Wong won the Bridgestone Tournament of Champions on Tuesday. The 19-year-old member of the Philippine team closed with a 3-under par for a 3-round total of 5-under 211 to win the games, which was held at the Grand Cypress in Orlando, Florida. Wong, who saw action in the 2017 Southeast Asian Games in Malaysia, visits his coach for some swing adjustments, but he took advantage of the tournament to apply what he learned. Paulo's sister, Danette Wong, said he is preparing for incoming tournaments, including the SEA Games qualifier and the Toyota World Junior Team Golf Championship on June 14 to 22. Wong is the second Cordilleran to make good in national golf. The first is Baguio Race top pro Mars Pucay. Jeron Teng went on beast mode to lead Alaska in trouncing the NLEX Road Warriors at the PBA Commissioner's Cup Wednesday night. The Aces took a 46-33 lead late in the second quarter before enduring a mild fourth quarter rally by the Road Warriors, who paraded a new import in Tony Mitchell. Teng, along with Chris Banchero, Chris Daniels, JV Casio, Brian Cruz, and Simon Enciso, made double figures as they played without coach Yang Giao, who is on vacation. John Paul Eram had a double-double of 16 points and 12 rebounds, while Huami Chongson added 10 for NLEX. Meanwhile, Stanley Pringle showed his explosiveness even after coming from ankle surgery, as he scored 22 points in leading Northport to a 110-86 win over TNT. Robert Bolick, Sean Anthony, Prince Ibe, and Mo Tautua also did their part as the Batang Pier surged in the second half. They did their best to hold down TNT import Terrence Jones, who tried to rally the team with 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. Either sleeping for less than 7 hours or more than 9 hours could affect one's cognitive performance, such as visual memory and reaction time, in a negative way. According to a study released on Tuesday by the University College of London, those who slept for less than 7 hours made more errors, or 5%, in a visual memory test, while those who slept for more than 9 hours made even more errors, or 9%. It says the recommended hours of sleep for adults is 7 to 9 hours. As for whether short or long sleep is linked to risk of dementia, more research is needed to investigate this relationship, according to the researchers. Parts of Luzon can expect some cloudy skies brought by the frontal system until tomorrow. A few rain showers may also occur, but they're still not enough to trigger the onset of the rainy season. Meanwhile, let's check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take a look at today's biggest stories.
Canada vows to shoulder the cost of shipping out more than 2,000 tons of garbage illegally dumped in the country. The House of Representatives ratifies the proposed Murang Kuryente Act, lowering power rates. The Philippines ranks up in this year's World Competitiveness Yearbook, and former members of the Maute terror group present themselves to the government for profiling.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.